Well, I started Pecan, I suppose, because in some ways the economy was a bit like it is now. We were just coming out of a really appalling recession, and churches were talking a lot about, is this the end of full employment? And I thought that was just ridiculous. I thought people need to work, people want to work. And so I wanted to look for something which would enable churches to help people find work. And I don't really know quite why I felt I knew what to do, because I was 27 and I really didn't know what I was doing, but I thought I would be able to help people do CVs, interviews, things like that, and be able to help people get jobs.
For the first couple of years, really, we were doing mostly basic job search skills. So that, job search that included, like, CVs were just on the horizon at that time. They were just relatively new for a lot of people, and in this area, and so it was more that, and where to look for people. Where do you look? Where do you even start to look for jobs? So it was mostly to do with jobs, and then we used to do interview techniques or interview skills.
I've been here for just over 7 years, and I started in Pecan as the Chief Executive Officer. Although I have a longer history of knowing Pecan for about 20 years before that. So, within the infancy of Pecan, I worked alongside them with another organisation for the Shaftesbury Society, and we worked a lot of the time with the same people. Our volunteers were people that were being trained through Pecan and some of their early employment programmes.
And so we wanted to find the unemployed people, and all around Peckham, the unemployment statistics were appalling. So I got together a team of people to start door knocking to find people who might want to come on a course, and they started door knocking and people started coming, and it began to build up, and then we evolved the course to be a bit more effective, and more people started coming, and then we found people who were struggling with literacy, so we set up a literacy course, and then we found people who were mainly refugees, so we set up an ESOL course, and that's how it went from there.
What I saw is people coming in with no hope because they were bewildered. They all come with the same need. They all want to find work, and they all want to be able to get on. And they were all baffled by the system, and there wasn't, at that time, wasn't a lot of help. There's an awful lot more help now.
3 decades ago, Peckham was probably one of the most frightening places in London. And I don't want to exaggerate it, but it really was scary. And the housing estates, it's hard to describe what those housing estates were like over there. They were terrible. And there was a reputation that the police wouldn't go on the estates. And we were, at times, pretty much the only people going on the estate, door knocking them. When we door knocked those estates twice a year for about 8 years. And we reached people who were being ignored by the system. And I think we really made a huge change to people's lives. Employment came down to below level of Dulwich.
What we are seeing now is a real changing environment. So when we started 30 years ago, we were looking at the issues on places like the Peckham North Estate, and there was a widespread poverty across the area. Pecan is in the middle of an area where it has changed. And we are seeing a growing gentrification across this part of London and in many places across London. And that changes the community that's here, the community that is resident here, the community that's been here a long time, the community whose children have grown up in the lifetime of Pecan, who are actually struggling to find employment still, struggling to find enough money to live in this area as it changes. I see Pecan as being a community organisation based in Southwark, working with the community, working with people, looking at the issues that are there, looking at the issues predominantly around poverty, and working with them of how can we make a difference? How can we support this community to change, to develop, to grow with what's happening around them and to embrace what's around them, but not to lose out.